Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners. Best Cord Cutting TV, Before It's Tax Preparation, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Casa Samtonieta Ingielapa, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, John Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Monzon Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Owners Reps Puerto Vallarta, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. Here we are, another day sharing news and headlines from our city, our state, and our country. It is Thursday, September 18, and I certainly hope none of your appliances got fried in last night's thunderstorm. It was quite something. There was a lot of lightning out there, and why am I fiddling with the microphone? Leave it alone. There was a lot of lightning out there, and there was rain, and it was loud and scary for dogs and cats and for some of us humans, but it was refreshing. The temperature came down, and I slept like a baby, and I hope you did too. Again, I hope you unplugged all your important appliances and nothing got fried at your home. As always, I've collected what I could find in terms of interesting news to share with you. And I am happy to share that I have at least one bit of news that is heartwarming. And I'll share that till the very end. But first, as always, let us dive into what we found that might be important to you. And this starts with tomorrow's National Earthquake Drill. This is the big news of today. The second national macro drill to be carried out tomorrow will be carried out at noon. The exercise in the state of Jalisco is based on the hypothesis of an 8.1 magnitude earthquake with an epicenter west of Chamela that would trigger a tsunami. Ooh, scary. So what can we expect as just ordinary citizens when these things happen? This has happened before, and this is the second one this year. But just in case, here is the drill of the drill, if there is such a thing. For starters, you will hear, or you should hear, all those earthquake and tsunami alarms, all those like alien-looking antennas that can be found throughout the hotel zone, and this one is located right next to the Quala River. These are supposed to emit a loud alarm, and this will happen tomorrow at noon. If you have an earthquake alarm on your Mexican phone or your cell phone is programmed to receive those notices, you should get those as well. And most importantly, for businesses of all sizes, this is an opportunity to find out how long it takes you to evacuate the building or the business. That is, in a nutshell, what the drills are all about. So, should you be concerned? Probably not. If you're at home, if you're working or you're at a business or in an office, you should follow the instructions of whatever you're told at that time. But again, this is just a drill. This is nothing to be worried about. And then moving right along, what else do we have here? Yes, the private sector in Puerto Vallarta has launched several initiatives to boost tourism in the region, focusing on sustainability, accessibility, and unique experiences. These efforts include promoting eco-friendly tours, developing infrastructure for visitors with disabilities, and creating new cultural and adventure attractions to draw a wider range of tourists. The goal is to enhance Puerto Vallarta's appeal as a premier travel destination while ensuring long-term growth and community benefits. Why is this happening? Why are members of the private sector sending these initiatives to the government? Well, because tourism is not what it used to be, and business is not what it used to be. And I talk to friends and business colleagues, and everybody's looking at everybody saying, what is going on? During the recent summer vacation period, 42.9 of business owners surveyed by Coparmex, which is the local chamber of business owners, reported significantly lower occupancy than in previous years, and more than 70% reported low or very low visitor spending. So, where are the people and where is the money and what are we doing as English speaking locals? Well, I'd love to hear your comments on this. Are you spending more money? Are you spending less money? Is your business affected by the shift? Do you think it's temporary? Do you think it has to do with what's going on north of the border? Or is it a worldwide situation? Um, I think this is an important question because if I can step away from the news, I often worry about the well being of coffee and headlines. I think my business has been affected as well. In fact, I know my business has been affected as well. I myself, as a person, have been affected by the effects of social media and how social media, now I'm reading a lot about how social media makes us um, less able to keep track of things and focus on things. And social media is not what it was set out to be when it was first brought together. Social media was supposed to bring us all together by sharing updates with our friends and associates. And I know I'm going in all kinds of directions with this comment, but the world is shifting, and economy is shifting, and tourism is shifting, and the places or the ways we go about getting information about the world around us is changing as well. So I bring this up just because I wanted you to know that just from human to human, this thought is occupying a lot of my personal time. Thinking about how to improve my ability to focus, my ability to pay attention, whether I am becoming more distracted because of social media or because I'm growing older. So that's just a little bit of where I am. I am in a good place because I'm thinking about all of these things, and I just thought I'd share a little bit about that. But back to the business that no, not yet. We're not ready for this one. Let's go back to this one. Back to this. Well, the city is busy, and the city is busy thinking of ways to become busier like we used to be. And hopefully, all these thoughts and all these initiatives will have a good outcome for our coming high season, as many like to call it. For me, it's high season all year round because we're keeping busy all year around. And that's enough of that. Um, Mark Carney's team arrived in Mexico City yesterday. A Canadian government protocol team arrived at the National Palace at 5:20 p.m. to discuss the details of Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to President Claudia Sheinbaum this Thursday, as in today. It is expected that the two heads of the State Department will meet, and then they will hold a press conference later on today, and we'll keep you posted on the outcome of that meeting. And of course, Breast Cancer Awareness Month is around the corner. It is an annual international health campaign organized by major breast cancer charities every October to increase awareness of the disease and raise funds for research into its cause, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and cure. And of course, our good friend Pam Thompson is always busy, but she's particularly busy during the month of October because she organizes a huge variety of breast cancer awareness activities. Starting with this Pink Wave cocktail, she was so kind to send me this graphic yesterday, and I wanted to share it with you. There's going to be a cocktail at the lobby of Hospital Joya on Friday, October 3rd, from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I'm really happy to report that Pam Thompson is going to join me for a spotlight interview on September 24th, which is this coming Wednesday. So I look forward to sitting down with Pam to discuss some of the things that she's going to be working on and to also touch base on what we've been doing together to um, to promote Feel Good Vallarta, our upcoming health fair. And this is basically what we have for the first half. Let's take a quick look at the weather forecast, and then we'll continue with a couple of other nuggets that I put aside for you. Snarky Weatherman says you're going to take this rain and you're going to like it. Well, I say I'm going to take the rain and I'm going to like it. It is 30 degrees out there. Humidity is at 68%, which is low for local standards, 68%. Our weather forecast for today tells us that we're going to have scattered thunderstorms throughout the day with a chance of rain of 54%, a high of 32, and a low of 22. Tomorrow, Friday, um, scattered thunderstorms are possible throughout the day with a chance of rain of 86%, a high of 32, and a low of 22. Then Saturday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a high of 32, a low of 22, and a chance of rain of 90%. So we're going to have a wet weekend, which sounds like what the doctor ordered. Moving right along, I want you to be mindful of the fact that, in September, many restaurants close, many restaurants take a break. And yesterday, I was happy to find out that our good friends at Rico Indian also took a break, but they're back in business as of yesterday. So if you're craving some Indian food, Rico Indian is back in business in case you want to stop by the Isla Rio Cuale and have a delish meal at this wonderful restaurant. Shout out to Monish. I hope you're doing great. And if you took a little break, I hope you enjoyed it immensely. And now I have. Okay, I'm just going to show you this photograph because there's so much to unpack on this image. And I'll tell you a little bit about the story and I'll tell you a little bit about why it warms my heart. You are looking at a quartet, although there may have been more than them. These ladies are traditional Oaxaca cooks. And I deliberately say cooks because they're not chefs, they're not professionally trained. They are cocineras. That's what we call them in Mexico. And there's no shame in just being a cook. When you go to a traditional Mexican restaurant, you want to know who is cooking, who is the cook. It's not about who is the chef, although there's a huge place for restaurants that have chefs. Not to undermine people that go into a professional career of gastronomy. But why am I showing you these ladies? Well, these ladies are from Oaxaca, the state of Oaxaca, but they were flown all the way to the United Arab Emirates by the Mexican embassy so they could cook a traditional Oaxacan Mixteca cuisine Mexican independence evening. And they traveled from the Mixteca region in Oaxaca to Abu Dhabi with a photographer to document the journey. And even the article that I read refers to them not by their full names. They are Doña Olga, Doña Vicky, Doña Marisela, and Doña Mayra. Now, what does this Doña business mean? Well, it means a couple of things. Number one, it's like saying Mrs. It's a way to imply a certain respect. Don and Doña is something that we use to refer to either people that are older than us or people that deserve the respect. Like I might mention uh, President Sheinbaum as Doña Claudia. Of course, I mean, I'm just making that point. Sometimes I go out on the street and people call me Don Paco. They probably do it not because I'm very respectful. They probably do it because I'm an older gentleman. But what warms my heart is these ladies are not professional cooks as a professional chef. These ladies probably learned how to cook from their parents, their mothers, their grandmothers, and whatnot. And they were flown to the other side of the world just to share something that they love. They may be working at a restaurant. We don't know where they came from, but it totally warmed my heart to read about how these ladies, and I'm going to generalize here if I may, but we don't know if they are financially or logistically able to travel around the world. And boom, all of a sudden, somebody flew them to the other side of the planet just to do what they love. It just made my day. And it sounds silly that something so detached from our everyday Puerto Vallarta existence would make my day. Does this make your day? Let me know in your comments. I look forward to hearing your comments on this one. And now let's take a look at your comments. Yes. Da 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 da. I see good mornings all around, and I appreciate those very much. Thank you so much for checking in with me. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have. When in Puerto Vallarta, I see many items that are overpriced, so I don't buy. Food and day trips get my dollars. That's fair. Mark says, with a big Q, as you know, Linda and I just returned from a trip to 4 different countries and did an organized tour in each one. The talk among the guides was how down the tourist numbers were, and even the Uber drivers mentioned it. So, the world is in crisis. Let's have a good Mexican meal. Oh dear. 2 of my favorite politicians, Carney and Sheinbaum, hopefully they will work together to help both countries. It's a win-win. Well, I mean, I can imagine there's a number of things they're going to talk about. And of course, the World Cup is coming next year. And I'm sure that is also on the agenda of their conversation. Isn't Rico Indian the place with the cute kitties we are going to go? Yes, it is, Laura. That's the restaurant in Isla Rio Cuale that I love. What? I was deported yesterday. I am in remission from lymphoma, and my doctors agreed I could have my chemo IV port removed. Harold, I'm sorry to hear you're under the weather. I certainly hope that is a typo. I certainly hope you were not deported. But I'm just reacting to what you wrote. Let's see what else we have. It feels like a worldwide economic recession. Well, I think we're all thinking twice about things, how we spend our money, how we spend our time, how we connect with other people. Social media, is it still doing the trick? Is it not doing the trick? Is it making us stupid? It's a harsh word, but I know my attention span is a mess, and I'm working really hard and trying to understand why. Let's see. Oh, I didn't realize being deported was a thing. My apologies if I don't understand the term. Question, has anyone heard from Den Doran lately? Wondering if he's doing okay. I haven't heard from Den in a long time. This is the time in which they're usually in the States, some mutual friends stayed at their apartment recently, and I had a chance to visit with them. So I hope they're doing well. Susan says, I love the story of the cocineras, and this is important to me because it gives me a sense as to what kind of stories can I bring to us that allows us to connect with the things that we always talk about, but what kind of stories can we share here at Coffee and Headlines that makes us feel good? That is always the kind of thinking that I go through as I select the things to bring to the table. So when you tell me that you love the story of the cocineras, you're giving me a lot of insight, Susan, and I appreciate that very much. Um, let's see what else we have. Laura says, the ladies made my day. Bless them. You know, one would want to sit down with them and have a conversation. Like, I'm dying to get together with my friend Julie Guerrero, who was able to watch El Grito from El Zócalo, the first grito by a Mexican lady president. I can't wait to hear. She told me on a message yesterday that there was a lot of emotional crying and that there were a lot of women that were, I'm just excited about that. Um, let's see what else. How honorable. Yes, the doñas deserve a nice acknowledgement for their act of cooking, their art of cooking. You know, I always make it a point when I go to a restaurant where one can actually see the cooks in action. I always make it a point to say thank you to the kitchen and to the doñas and sometimes the dones that are working there. I will say, you know, gracias doñas or buenas tardes, muchas gracias. It is important to give people their place in my book. Let's see. Oh, see, I can be that dense. Being deported means that, like, as a port. Okay, thank you very much for that clarification, Carol. I'm sorry about my ignorance. Oh my God, this reminds me. Yesterday's spotlight, which we're going to share tomorrow, was such an eye opener. Um, I learned so much, and that's all I'm going to say. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have an amazing spotlight, an eye opening spotlight about what really happens to veterans, war veterans from the United States in this particular case, and how a brave uh, war veteran here in Puerto Vallarta is helping others to thrive after being in service. Let's see. Sharon says, what is the name of the Mexican restaurant you are speaking of? We are not speaking of any specific Mexican restaurant, although if you want some interesting gossip, I understand that Santo Coyote, the very popular, very traditional, very expensive Mexican restaurant in Guadalajara, has just opened a branch in Marina Vallarta, and it'll be interesting to find out how good and how wonderful and how expensive it is. Let's see what else. Oh, thank you very much. Queen of Question, I didn't get the port thing either. Well, it must be, again, an inside joke, but I appreciate the clarification. And this, my friends, brings us to the end of today's broadcast. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you very much for your support and for your comments. It is a pleasure to be here every single day. And it is a pleasure to know that you are out there talking about what we do and sharing our posts and our news with other people. And that's it. I hope you have a great Thursday. And we'll be back tomorrow for more coffee, more headlines, and more stories. Have a good one.